I don't treat people that way. You know, I don't ignore people. I don't block people out of nowhere. I don't lead people on or string people along because I don't have my shit figured out. It's kind of like, or at least I try not to now. At least I know I kind of maybe did that, but that was more so out of immaturity. But if you're now in your 20s or whatever it is, and you're kind of leading people on, stringing people along like a violin, that's kind of dumb as fuck to me. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. So with this girl Daisy, I have a feeling that her boyfriend looked through the messages, and this is just me being a clairvoyant. I feel like her boyfriend looked through our messages, and just said, like, if you don't block this fool, we're gonna have problems or something like that. Which, if that's the case, I think that's some real sucker MC shit. It's like, she belongs to the game, whether you put a ring on it or not, bro. Like, girls are gonna be faithful whether you want them to or not. Like, that's just not on you, bro. You know, I could fucking want my girl to be as faithful as she can, as I want her to be, but that's not the reality of it, bro. Like, you can't live other people's lives. So if your girl's gonna do whatever she's gonna want to do, bro, and you got to be cool with that, whether it's cool to you or not.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Big Service back in the motherfucking place to be, La Merca Superior Palace 81 Studios, live in effect in a building. Episode numero 68, I think. Yeah, right, 78. I think we're on, because I think 70, whatever it is, it might be 77, 78. It doesn't fucking matter, because we're here, and we about to do this shit, huh, Presley? Presley's right here, you know what I mean? My number one. Presley's always here. If you didn't know that, when I do the podcast, he's always gonna be here. He's always my baby. He's always gonna be the guy, the boy that's watching over. And I think he likes, I wish I had another camera to show like his face, but I think he always likes watching me do this thing. I think he understands that this is some sort of a job I do or something. Buddy, don't you dare jump off the bed. Don't do that. Don't fuck this whole shit up right now, buddy. Don't do it. Don't do that. You see, you can hear him. So you think I'm lying? You just heard his ass right there. But yeah, man, there's a couple of things that I didn't get to over the topics. Bless you. We didn't cover over Christmas and me being sick and all that shit. So basically, this is kind of like a filler episode, almost in a sense. Presley, what the fuck did I just finish saying right now, boy? You didn't fuck the whole program up, buddy. Come here, so I could. No, buddy. Why do you choose to fucking just always do something when I start the podcast, buddy? It didn't make no sense, buddy. To be honest with you, it didn't really make no sense, buddy. You know what I mean? I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put this light at. It's overcasted right now, and because I look like I'm telling like ghost stories and shit, like one day El Cuckoo, you know what I mean? Like, this fucking light is super fucking bright. Maybe I should put it somewhere else. This is something you're supposed to handle like fucking like post-production or whatever the fuck it's called. I guess that's a little better. Yeah, because like my eyes are super light sensitive, but then when I put the fucking glasses on, you see the light. So it's like, you know, my shit is all, you know, you're dealing with a fucking amateur guy who's not really amateur. I just don't really have a big, you know, studio and all that bullshit. I really just gotta feed him his sound setup and a basic video setup, you know what I mean? Which I'd rather you enjoy the audio more than the video, you know what I mean? Because people try to make their podcasts in a like fucking glamorous fucking shows, you know what I mean? That it's like the background, some goofy shit, like have like Funko Pops and all that, which is pretty sick. You know what I mean? I'll probably have like a setup like that too. But I'm just saying, for the fucking sake of the podcast, it doesn't really matter. If we're talking shit and all that, you want to be entertained by the hosts rather than whatever's going on in the background. And that's just my whole thing. Like, you know what I mean? I was talking to my uncle about that. We're gonna have him on the podcast next episode. He's like, he's like, you want to do it? Because like my uncle, he's got connections. Like he could get a studio and all that shit. He's like, you need a studio? He's like, we could hook you up with a studio and all that. I'm like, we could, but the thing with my podcast is I don't really like when it's like, me personally, I like having like a more Joey Diaz style where it's like, it's mano y mano. I'm talking to you. It's not like you're getting a fucking, bless you, you're getting a fucking what is it? A show where it's like two people really here. I just wanted it to be like, you and me and fucking, come here, boy. And Presley, come here. Come here. Come here. I'm gonna feed you ladies. Understand? Get over here. You, me, and Presley. Yep. Look at him, his little sweater. He looks like a beautiful little baby. You understand? You look like a fucking beautiful little baby. You understand, buddy? Look at the camera. Look at us, buddy. We're like showmen, buddy. We're the showmen, shoguns of the fucking podcast stratosphere. You understand, buddy? We're the shoguns, whatever the fuck I said, in the stratosphere. You understand? That thing right there. Love him to death. But anyway, hold on. I'll put you on it. So, yeah, like I was just telling my uncle, like we could do like a whole big old thing, but like I really like it when it's just real intimate. And like Joey Diaz is like a big influence on me, just like personality wise. I really got to commend Joey Diaz because like back in, what was it, like high school? Yeah, for sure. High school around like 20. Damn, this fool ran. Is this the Uber? What the fuck? Doesn't this fool like live in that house or something like that? That wasn't wacky. Somebody pulled up and a car pulled up and the neighbor from the house ran with a bag of something over to the fucking car. Like if his life depended on it. What was that? Now he's leaning in the window all crazy. So that has to be his girl or guy. It's probably his boyfriend right there. You know what I mean? He's giving him kisses. He got a bag right there. So if I had to guess what's in that bag, it's probably condoms, lube, graham crackers, a bonnet, and 2 do-rags. Okay, he's running back into the house. What the fuck? What kind of shit is this? Oh, is he running because it's raining? Oh, and he blew a kiss to his boyfriend. Ah, seeing love in the streets is so funny to me. That's a Beamer too. That's like the i300 or whatever the fuck. I'm not into cars, bro. But yeah. So Joey Diaz really influenced me. When I was in high school, especially when I got kicked out of Colony, ended up in Chafee. It was really hard, bro, because at that point I was a senior. Everyone had already, at that point, all the students, they knew each other. Since they were like in elementary school, middle school, and not too many people want to make new friends when you're a senior. That was the reality of it. Pretty much the people that were my age that I was friends with were like either outcasts or like misfits, or the people I was drawn to, especially around that time, or were drawn to me, were kind of like the fucking, the graffiti writers, the kids that sold shit and things like that. But you don't always have people around you, the whole day of school. I think I kicked it with my homies, at lunch at probably the end. Something like that. I remember just kicking it alone, and then I remember the homie Drew and his homies and our homies, they switched periods because like there was 2 lunch periods, like first lunch, second lunch period, And I think I was always in, I want to say the second lunch period. Let's just say I was in the second lunch period and then they were in the first. So then at some point it flipped, like they were in the second and then we all kicked it together. And that was when I would like show them like the music I was making and all that good shit. And it was like really dope, you know what I mean? To have like friends that would actually like support you verbally, you know what I mean? They don't got to support you financially, but just like, yo, this shit is dope. Keep going at it. Things like that. So while I was at lunch, I would actually be listening to the Joe Rogan podcast before it was on Spotify. I feel like Joe Rogan really fucked the whole shit up. I don't know why he took that deal with Spotify. He really didn't need the money. I really don't understand why he did that. I mean, you could tell he just did it for the money because that was an insane deal, you know what I mean? Which I think is whack, you know, there's so many ads on his shit now and it's just so lame that fucking all the Joe Rogan episodes are on Spotify and shit, like 90% of all his episodes aren't on YouTube anymore. They're all private. Like the Dice Clay episode, I really love with Joey Diaz. That's one of my favorite episodes. Charlie Murphy and Freeze Love, that's another good one. The Ice House Chronicles, I don't think were ever. I think they were on the Joe Rogan Experience, but then I think he took them down at some point. But there's one I like with Bill Burr, Steve-O, Eddie Bravo, and Joey Diaz. That's a good one right there. But I just think it's dumb, you know what I mean? I wish I could fucking garner fucking viewership like that to where I just leave YouTube. That's kind of why it's only YouTube exclusive, because I feel like once you're on Spotify, it's kind of like, how are you going to leverage any other deals? Like, especially with Spotify, like, what are they going to tell you? Oh, we're going to give you more ads and just more money. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So that's why the podcast is only on YouTube. I know people have told me like, how come your podcast, you know, you don't put it on Apple Music or fucking, you know, name a place. What else is there? Spotify, Apple Music. I'm just like, it doesn't fucking make any sense to me. You know, I really want it to be, for me at least, I want it to be one place. You know, the swap meet is the one place you could go to where you're going to go there and you're going to find the only those things, you know, burners, fucking action figures, Hot Wheels, like whatever, like, what is it? What's that place? Frankensons is like that too, where it's like, you know, that's the one place where you could get Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic cards, you know, anything that's collectible, you could get there. That's kind of what I want the podcast to be. It's like you're only coming to YouTube because, you know, that's where you could get my music, the podcast, and whatever else I'm doing, the lives. That's kind of like the three main things that I'm focusing on right now: podcast, music, and the lives. I do the food reviews, but I kind of been like chilling on those lately. I've been dropping just old ones that I've had already on TikTok. Those have been going up. That's what's up. But going back to Joey Diaz, he really inspired me, and Joe Rogan inspired me to do the podcast. And while I was like really like sad and down and fucking thinking about life as a teenager, they really were like encouraging me just like through their conversations. And it's really weird because, you know, a one listener really does matter, because you never know who's listening. You never know who needs the fucking words of wisdom, because like what you're going through might be, you know, what you go through isn't really far from like whatever anyone else is going through. So I really got to shout out Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan, because, you know, they inspired me to do this, you know. That painting, it's not even a painting back there. It's basically just a mop ink on what is it, plastic. That's not even, you know, that's on the back of a sealed canvas. But that's pretty much the cover to Daisy in the Rain. Basically, the whole premise of that was there's this girl named Daisy that I guess we're not friends anymore, but I have a feeling I know where this is coming from. So Daisy, been a friend since high school, kind of been attracted to her, you know what I mean? And then we went out to dinner one time. I wouldn't even call it a dinner. We just ate at Chipotle, one night. We got fly as fuck, you know what I mean? And out of nowhere, she blocked me. But she has a boyfriend who's her husband. I don't think that it's her husband, but in any case, she tweeted. She had a tweet that said anybody looking, anybody hiring and shit, and I liked it. And I was gonna tweet her and be like, "Yo, you know what I mean? You could always work for my shit," but it's like, I'm like, the last time I messaged Daisy, she didn't even respond. So kind of how I feel like with girls when I message them and they don't respond, it's kind of like I don't really feel like talking to you, because what if I did be like, yo, I could hook you up at my job, and then you don't respond? Then it's gonna make me really feel like, you know what, like I'm gonna just leave it alone, because I don't treat people that way, I don't ignore people. I don't block people out of nowhere. I don't lead people on or string people along because I don't have my shit figured out. It's kind of like, or at least I try not to now, at least. I know I kind of maybe did that, but that was more so out of immaturity. But if you're now in your 20s or whatever it is, and you're kind of leading people on, stringing people along like a violin, that's kind of dumb as fuck to me. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. So with this girl, Daisy, I have a feeling that her boyfriend looked through the messages, and this is just me being a clairvoyant. I feel like her boyfriend looked through our messages and just said, like, if you don't block this fool, we're gonna have problems or something like that. Which, if that's the case, I think that's some real sucker MC shit. It's like, she belongs to the game, whether you put a ring on it or not, bro. Like, girls are gonna be faithful whether you want them to or not. Like, that's just not on you, bro. I could fucking want my girl to be as faithful as she can, as I want her to be, but that's not the reality of it, bro. Like, you can't live other people's lives. So if your girl's gonna do whatever she's gonna want to do, bro, and you got to be cool with that, whether it's cool to you or not. So I got nothing but love for Daisy, but that's kind of like more so like, there's an upside down question mark in the middle of the thing. So it's kind of like, why? Like, that the question is like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You kind of left me in the rain, so to speak. So, I mean, with women, man, I don't really seek, not that I seek like whatever I want to seek in a woman is what I want to seek. But most for women, for me, I think I want respect, you know what I mean, and kind of some sort of companionship before love. Like, if we don't end up being anything, or like whatever it is, that's cool. But if like we could just have respect and companionship, that's cool, because I know what it's like to be alone, bruh. And being alone sucks. It's cool sometimes when you need to be alone, you need to reconfigure shit, but being alone 24/7 is kind of detrimental to your health, you know what I mean? And I guess we're at the point now where fucking women can't have friends or whatever, or women will be hoes, but they can't be like have no hope. They can't be hoes and friends with nobody. It seems like women don't want friends. It seems like women just want to fuck dudes and be in relationships monogamously, which is fine. But you don't have to block me. You don't have to make me feel like you're disrespecting me over some bullshit that could just be talked through or talked about. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a problem with me or there's a discrepancy, you can always just tell me like, hey, I'm not interested, or like, you could fuck off, or you could just unfollow me. You don't gotta block me. I'll know from you unfollowing me. Like, if we followed each other for like 10 years and you block me out of nowhere, that just tells me like that's a big red flag, you know what I mean? And then in my mind, my mind goes places, and then the Saints get called, and I don't want to do all that extra shit, you know what I mean? I just want the respect there. But I did see a video on like some women that they don't like confrontation with men, especially. They don't women are emotional creatures, and they don't like confrontation. So I get that. It's just like, I just think it's kind of lame. I think I've already talked about this before with women ignoring you or blocking you or things like that. I just think it's very immature. I think it says a lot about you and how you handle your shit in your life. You just don't want to deal with things because of whatever's going on with you. which is fine. You know what I mean? I always go back to, you know, the whole world runs around consent. You know what I mean? I just feel like with the Daisy in the Rain, not only did I make a painting, but I made like a whole like 6 beats in like kind of one day. Just real quick, they're not nothing, no crazy special beats, nothing Jay-Z or Makami would rap over. They're just a little collection of beats I made, you know, in one sitting. I'm trying to get all my beats out there. Listening to the beat tape again, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna make more beat tapes, but maybe I won't put them out there. I don't know. I really don't know how it's gonna go, because it's just dumb for me to put in all this work for nobody to, you know, cherish. Why would Michelangelo fucking make a bunch of statues just for himself? You know what I mean? When I hear these artists like say they made albums and they never put it out, I could see if they were in like label binds, like, oh, the label shelved it or whatever the fuck, or contractually whatever. But if you're like an independent artist and you're bragging about, you know, you got albums that no one's ever heard, it's kind of stupid to me, you know. Unless you're like a Mad Lib where you're making like 1,000 fucking beats every day, I could get that. It's kind of like you do kind of gotta cut the fat. But with me, I'm like a real free spirit, bro. I'm an artist that, you know, even if it is like some simple shit, I could really give 2 fucks, because I'm just gonna put it out, and whoever gravitates towards it, like literally, I have a little piece I did. What is it? Oh, it's on the other side of Daisy in the Rain, but it's this is why you don't drink soda, because you get the burps. On the other side of Daisy in the Rain, I had put I Know What's Hell and It's Parallel to Wealth. I didn't really think people would gravitate towards that, but some people did like it on Instagram and stuff. And by a few people, I literally mean like 4 or like 3. But it's just like, it's the truth, you know what I mean? That's from Mushroom Pizza, the track I have on Sonia, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put the music, mix the music with the pieces and the paintings, because that's literally, you know, the self-expression, bro. I'm really trying to put it all together, you know, whether people like it or not. And that's just what I'm always going to do. I'm always going to express myself. Whoever likes it can eat a dick, you know? So Gunna ended up snitching. A lot of people think he didn't snitch, but in my opinion, you know, the whole reason why they weren't able to get any of the mafia members, or back in the day the mobsters, was because their wives would vehemently say, my husband's a good worker and all that. There's no such thing as a mafia. They wouldn't even acknowledge that a mafia existed. But over time, I don't know, was it Joe Gallo? Somebody sang like a canary. I forgot who it was, but it was in the early days of the mob snitches, and they were like, yes, the mafia exists, this and that. So with the whole YSL case in Gunna, their whole fucking square root of what they were trying to say was YSL is a gang, and the defense was saying that YSL is not a gang, it's a fucking label, and Gunna fucked it all up by saying YSL is a gang, and he didn't want to do shit he was supposed to do and all that. That's a super snitch, bro. That's literally like Gunna pretty much what is it? Hit the fucking Achilles heel of the fucking case, because the whole foundation was built on the case being YSL is a gang. They're trying to prove that. Now Gunna being on the label, he's literally testifying that YSL is a gang. So he fucked it all up. The people who saying he's not a snitch are fucking dead wrong. And I hate people that they don't understand street shit. They're trying to put their fucking bullshit on it. But point blank period, bro, like, if, like, you're not even supposed to say nothing to the police, like, when you get hemmed up and shit. Like, if I'm a gang member and, you know, obviously it's known I'm a gang member, even then I'm not supposed to say I'm a fucking gang member. But if people don't know you're a gang member and you be like, yeah, I'm from this set, you know, this is the leader, this is that, that's some snitch shit, bro. Like, even if you don't get nobody arrested or anything like that, which I don't think Gunna wants to do, but it's like, you're singing, bro. You're putting on paper, you're letting it be publicly known that you're a part of something that the rules to the shit is you're not supposed to say nothing. You're not supposed to say zip about it. And that's just my opinion. That's just how I think it's supposed to go. In my opinion, Gunna snitched. Obviously, he's home. I don't know. He's probably gonna have to end up testifying against Young Thug and shit. And I saw something that Young Thug is gonna come in the summer. Yeah, he'll probably be home in the summer to pack all his bags and say goodbye to everybody, because that fool's gonna do like 100 years. Watch, they're gonna give, like, if Tory Lanez is facing, this is another thing we'll cover. If Tory Lanez is facing like 20 years, this fool Young Thug's gonna do like 1,000, bro, because they're literally trying to get Young Thug as like the gang injunction, the gang leader of like all this crazy shit, which I think is stupid. You know what I mean? The police, you know, if there's no real connection, like maybe if there was one or two murders connected to a music group, yeah, I guess you could go investigate those murders. But to tie in a RICO, which, you know, it's a bunch of rackets and it's a big thing that goes into it, I think they're just really hungry to get Young Thug the fuck out of here and into the can. I think they're really trying to target hip hop artists because this is what the kids are listening to. And if the kids are thinking, oh, it's cool to whack fools and shit like that, I think with the police and all that, they don't really want that out there on the street. You know what I mean? They want to sweep these fools off of the street as much as they can before their kids start doing hits or whatever. That's just my opinion. And with Tory Lanez, they found him. They convicted of shooting Meg Thee Stallion, and I think it's really, you know, there was so many ways. Like, this thing looked like it was going either. It could have went either way, but in any case, fucking what's his name? Tory Lanez is he got convicted. He's gonna be sentenced soon. I don't know if it's in like a few days or something like that, but he's gone. I think it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? I don't know I don't know how you would be doing 20 years for, what is it? Assault. Wouldn't that be assault with a deadly weapon, right? Shooting, right? That's what it is. I don't know the whole shit of it, but you know, it was fucking weird. I just think it's weird times. The time to be rapping is so weird right now because a lot of people are getting locked up for really weird things, and a lot of rappers are dying and stuff, especially the young ones. And it fucking sucks, bro, because like I was saying about how I feel like hip hop has changed so much because of all the deaths of the legends. I feel like all these rappers are getting killed and locked up. We're literally going to see hip hop mutate and evolve into like something that's, you know, if all the rappers evolved into like mumble rappers as they were called now, what are all these rappers getting killed? What are they going to evolve into? Like fucking punk rockers or something? I really don't know what it is. It's kind of fascinating when you really think about it. But as far as like rappers, I really feel like rappers don't want other rappers to be bigger than each other. I always think about this when I go to shows and shit like that. I really don't feel like following any other rappers. You could follow me, but that don't mean I'm gonna want to follow you, because the rule of thumb is rappers don't want to be another rapper's fans, because a rapper always wants to be better than another rapper. Now, I see this a lot and I do this too, so don't deny this shit. If a rapper is bigger than you, you're definitely going to want to support them if you think they can help you out in your career. Trust me. Everyone does this. You can't deny this shit. But no rapper wants another rapper to be bigger than them. No one wants to do that shit. What kind of shit is that? You know, it's a whole pyramid scheme. The whole game is run on, you know, the top. You know, if the whole shit flows from the top down, so whoever it is, it's like, you know, Jay-Z, Murs, whoever, local artists, right? It just goes from the top down and shit. Why did I even bring that up? That's why, you know, artists sign to each other, and that always creates problems, you know. Just to give examples out, you know, I think didn't Flocka sign a Gucci, and look how that went. I think Freddie was gonna sign a Jeezy. Look how that went. Mock didn't sign with Griselda. You saw how that went. You know, there's just so many cases of artists that sign with each other not working out. And that's why I would never sign Mufasa, bro. I love Mufasa. He's my family, but I would never sign him. I would do like on some Wu-Tang shit, like find a deal for him and just do it like that. Because, I feel like, he had a girl and his girl at the time, the son, was like, yo, like, the mom was saying, like, my son thinks that you're, okay, this is fucking me up. So basically the son thought that I was Mufasa's boss, but that's just the way I carry myself. And children are very perceptive too, but I'm not his boss. It's just like I told him, like, I'm not his boss, we're partners, you know what I mean? But I would never say that, like, oh, I'm his boss. Like, that implies like I boss him around or he takes orders from me, you know. I don't ever want to be nobody's boss. I'm not nobody's fucking chaperone or whatever it is. I would never sign Mufasa just off of the simple fact that he has his own vision, you know what I mean? And I can't read his mind. I don't know what he wants. I could get him a label deal. I could help him all I want, and and we could work on that together. Like, yo, Serbs, you know what I mean? I want to do this and that, and I'll help him, versus him wanting me to do things and then him not like clearly communicating what he wants to me, and I can't make that happen. Or there's just so many ways this shit could fuck up that I'm not interested in, because the business shit, it really does strain the personal relationships and vice versa. And business and family mix only like in the right elements, and I feel like signing him would just be a detriment to everything, the music, the business, everything. If he wanted that, I mean, I guess we could make it work because we're family. But, you seen Amigos, you seen how the fuck that shit went. Rest in peace to what's his name, Takeoff. But me personally, I don't want people saying Mufasa was only successful because of me. And on the flip side, I don't want people saying, Mufasa never took off because of me. Either way, it would I wouldn't be 100% comfortable with. And I definitely wouldn't want people saying like, oh, Mufasa never got on because of you, because I want to make that happen. That's something, not everyone can come to the party. Not everyone's going to eat at the same tables as you. But if I could help, the people I think who will strive to do that, I will, That's just how I feel about it. Family's the most important thing, man. And speaking of family, my pops wants to conceal carry, bro. That shit is wild to me. And him wanting to conceal carry made me want to get a concealed carry permit. And I don't know. I heard it's kind of expensive, like a couple bills, like at least like $500 or something like that. I don't know, but it's always cool to have one. And I might get one, I might not. I don't know, but I really want that Bursa Thunder 9, you know what I mean? I really do want a small little, because I got my G19, but I want a little cuete. I could just have like fucking like on some James Bond shit, like like just pull that shit out of thin air, you know what I mean? Like a fucking magician or something. But I think that's cool that Pops wants to conceal carry, but I think he wants like a 45 or something like that. I'm like, shit, man, that's a lot of firepower for a little ass gun, you know what I mean? I was looking at this shit that Knowledge the producer, he obviously, if you don't know Knowledge the producer, he's done a lot of work with artists like Anderson .Paak. He hates when artists rap over his beats. I could see why, because they copyright it, they monetize it, and then it fucks up with his shit. So I get that. I just think Knowledge is a beast, bro. He's a fucking great producer. And there was a tweet he put out that he was saying like, don't use my beats without permission. He's like, I'll take your shit down, which I thought it was cool. But a lot of people were trying to get on Knowledge like, yo, bro, fucking yada, yada, yada. And it's the same thing whether you use his beats or you use other people's samples. It's like you kind of do need permission. My only thing is do you clear your samples? Because if you're copywriting beats from samples you don't clear, that don't make sense. That's like saying, that's like stealing and being like, oh, you can't steal from me. Like, nah, bro. As soon as you rob somebody, you're fair game, bro. You're in the game now. Like, once you make it a habit of robbing and shit like that, don't be like, yo, bro, come on now, you can't rob from me, bro. I know I rob, but you can't. Like, you know what I mean? That's just a silly argument that is pretty silly to me. Now, if he does have the sample clearances, and I see that not all his beats are copywritten, so I'm just gonna assume he does have sample clearance from the songs he has copywritten. I think that's fair, you know what I mean? Because at that point he does have all his business in order and no one is getting fucked over. And you should respect that. I don't know if that's the thing though. Like, what happened with the spook? I always like. I'm gonna interview Makami, and I want to ask him like, what's up with the spook? Does he own it? Who owns it? Because if people are getting it taken down, like I know NC, he had that album on his channel, but it got taken down. I want to go out on a limb and say Knowledge owns that album, or maybe all the beats on that album at least, because Mock went over Cauliflower and then like one other beat from Knowledge's beat tape, or that one beat tape. I don't know. It's a slippery slope when it comes to shit like that. I don't know what the whole thing is. I really want to know though, like, what did Mock do? Like, did he rap over a bunch of Knowledge beats and Knowledge was like, okay, you could do it, and then because the whole thing, like Fahim worked with Knowledge and shit, and then you can't even find that track anymore. So I really want to know what's the deal with Knowledge and like Makami, because it seems like they're not cool with each other. Obviously, you can't get the spook nowhere. That's probably one of my favorite Makami albums, like definitely like top 5 for sure for me. I recently found the sample to Yeezy Taught Her and I flipped it. I just don't like the drums I had on it, so I'll probably take the drums out and do something. I want to get my machine already. I want to make beats on my machine, bruh. I've had my machine for 6 years now and I haven't made one beat on it, bruh. But I've tried to like fuck with it. It's like working R2D2 or something like that. It's like fucking with a computer for the first time. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's going on. So with the machine, I really want to get on it. I really want to bang the beats out. Because I have literally over 1,000 samples. I probably got like 2,000 samples that I could just bang fucking beats out. And one thing I do need though is I need some drum kits. And then I need some, what is it? I need some tutorials. I need to learn how to work the machine, bro, because it's time. You know, I really want to make beats. I made beats before I even started rapping, you know what I mean? So I was producing before I was even writing. That's why I could make good songs, because bless you, Jesus Christ. Because I know musically how to compose. I was I played the trumpet. I wasn't good at that. I played the snare drum when I was in middle school in 6th grade. I was the best. I think I was the best drummer in my class. So I was really proud of that. I wonder where that piece of paper is too. I gotta go find that shit. Maybe I threw it away or something. I don't know. I know for sure I don't think I have it anymore, but I wish I still had it. Cause I was really proud. They said when I was in the 6th grade I was the best fucking drummer, but then as we got into 7th and 8th grade, I was like, I don't know what it is. As soon as it got more complex, like musically, I was like, okay, like I can't do this shit anymore. Like, I'm not as good as I thought. But whatever. I moved on to producing, studio wise, and I started rapping. So, the whole where I cut my teeth from was basically being in a orchestral type band, you know what I mean, where it was trumpets, saxophones, drums, percussion. That was me. I was in the percussion section. I knew I was like on the triangle, the cowbell, the snare drum, The timpani was hard as fuck. The timpani is like a whole different thing, and I couldn't really do that shit. I wish I could have done it for that one song, "All Quiet on the Western Front" or Eastern Front or whatever song that is. They just made a movie about it. But the timpani section, if you can ever find the song, I think it's the original "All Quiet on the Western Front." The timpani's badass, dog, and I just always love music, and that's how I'm just, you know, that's how I kind of got my style from. And I always had the emphasis on drums, especially when I listen to beats or when I look for beats. If the drums aren't right, I can't fuck with it at all. Even if it's just a sample, there be like times where the drums won't play as big of a role. But especially if you look at the Sonya album, it's like every beat is banging, all the drums are banging. You know what I mean? And I finished playing God of War Ascension. I really like God of War, but it kind of got redundant, and I'm so glad they switched it. They switched it up to God of War 2018, like where it's like an open world, free roaming versus the first, like all the games up until 2018. God of War was you couldn't go back. You couldn't, like, I think God of War, the 2018 is the same thing. Like once you can't go through chapters, like you keep going forward and it is what it is. But I could see how it was like Pokemon, where they kind of milked the fuck out of whatever style or playthrough it was. And it just kind of got redundant, What's up, boy? But yeah, I finished playing Ascension. And going from God of War 3, which I think is the best God of War game up until 2018, to Ascension, it was like night and day, bro. Like I kind of got bored of it, but then I do see how they wanted to mix shit up with Ascension. It's just they did all they could, throughout the game. You get magical powers, some upgrades. That's it. But God of War 2018, you get the armor, you get certain builds, skills. You have Atreus. He fucking has his bow and arrow. You got magic. You got enchantments, spells, potions, things like that. So I think the new God of War game is insane. I think it's really dope. I'm up to the part where you fucking, there's a merchant. There's like two brothers that are merchants. And I met the second one. So you meet the first one early in the game, and then a little later you find the second one. And I'm up to that point. And I think it's a really dope game about like a father and son, and how, the father kind of struggles with connecting with his son. But it's just really dope. The story is really dope. And it's crazy because the first time Atreus kills the first, like, when he kills like the first person, I don't know if it's like a person or a demon, but the first time he kills someone, he like starts crying and shit. And like it made me emotional and shit, just the way like, he's like a kid and he doesn't really understand like the world, and like Kratos is like, you got to close your heart to it. Like people aren't going to be as forgiving. Like people aren't going to be merciful to you, and the fucking world is cold and shit. Everything about it I think is dope. They set Kratos up until this point where he's like this fucking crazy, hardcore, angry, revenge-filled god. And now you could see like the more humanity of him and shit. And it's really weird because God of War 1, Kratos isn't a god. At the end and in the beginning of God of War 2, he is the God of War. But then after that, he's immortal. He's not really the God of War anymore. I mean, I guess he kind of was after the point where he kills Ares and he becomes the God of War, but they throw like, he's still immortal and he's immortal, but he ends up killing the gods. So I don't know how in the new game they're trying to say that, he's a god, but I get it, but then I don't. It's kind of weird, it's just how they set it up. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, because if you've never played all the God of War games up until 2018, it doesn't matter, because in the new one, they're trying to show you like he was a god, or he is a god. He's just not a god of like their realm. And I think it's really cool how they have the realms, like it's Norse mythology, then Greek, and they should do another they should put him in another realm. Like, I don't know, what is it, the Romans and shit like that. So I would really love for them to go in that kind of direction with Atreus as he gets older and Kratos gets older too. I just think it's a beautiful story. If you haven't played God of War, I suggest you try it out, especially if you think like things like Elden Rings or the Elder Scrolls. I don't know what it's called, or any open world RPG. You're really gonna love God of War. It's a really dope game, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just really dope. This is the God's Hour.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.